Hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Rachel and welcome to a new background. I'm just trying it out. My older kids are gone with my husband right now and my baby is sleeping, so the downstairs is unusually quiet and unusually available, so I thought I would try something new today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking myself out of, or attempting to talk myself out of, my current makeup wish list. I also have a pretty long wish list for clothing right now. A wish list is just something that I keep on my phone at all times, and anytime I want to purchase something, I put it on the list, and then I kind of go back after a couple of weeks and take things off if I haven't been thinking about it. If it hasn't come to my mind at all, then I nix it. I know that it's not something that I actually want, and things that I do remember and things that I do want to stay. So the list has slowly been accruing over time, and I'm just going to try to go through it today, at least the beauty stuff, and try and talk myself out of each of the items on there, while also trying to find a dupe for each of the items within the beauty products that I already own. I've got a sizable little never fear, cat-like reflexes is here. We've got a sizable little basket of products here. I just say we get right into it. Let's go. So the very first thing on my wish list, or I guess technically the most recent thing that I put on my wish list, is sea salt spray. We spent July 4th with our friends, and their neighbors happen to have a saltwater pool, and I have never been in a saltwater pool, at least not in recent memory. I've only ever done the old chlorine, and let me tell you, it is not the same. It's so much easier to open your eyes under the water. It doesn't sting and burn like something horrible is happening to you, and also it was just so much nicer on my hair. July 4th was just the other day, and I actually haven't washed my hair since being in the pool, and I just loved the texture that it gave it and how it air dried. It just air dried so well. So that got me thinking that I needed a sea salt spray. So I started looking on Sephora, looking on Ulta, looking over reviews, all of that. And I just said, stop, wait a minute, just look at the products that you already have and see if any of them are technically a sea salt spray. And I do have one. It's the Playa Endless Summer Spray. Create soft and tousled texture. Southern California sea salt and beta carotene. It also provides UV protection. So I guess if you spray it on your scalp, it will keep you from getting burned. That's great. I purchased this at TJ Maxx, I believe, and I always wonder if most of those products are not on their way out, you know, being discontinued or something like that. So I'm actually not sure if this is still available. If I can find it, I'll link it for you guys. I have a sea salt spray. I don't need to buy another one right now. I'm gonna use the one that I have. There's always like a piece in front here that has less wave. Is this too much? I'll do a scrunch. This could end up badly. This could end up real frizzy. You know, I didn't scrunch my hair after I got out of the pool. It just dried naturally in the sun. You know, it's the best. It's the best. Is it big enough? It'll do for now. We're gonna let it settle. We can always do a little bit of tweaking at the end, but for now I'm gonna move on to the next product in my wish list. I guess instead of going in the order of the wish list, I should actually go in the order of how I put things on my face, because I am going to be applying these products. In terms of base products, I have the Neutrogena Hydrating Tint Foundation. Hydrating Tint something. It's like a very, very light coverage foundation, or even like tinted moisturizer status. I've owned it once before. I just had the hankering a couple months ago to purchase it again, and so I put it on my wish list. But I thought I would just look through the makeup products that I already own and see if I have anything with like a similar coverage, similar finish, things like that. This is making me so nervous. It's fine. It's connected. Science. So the two products that I grabbed are the L'Oreal Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. This product is in my Project Pan currently. And then also the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint. Both of these are very light coverage. This one provides a slightly more matte finish, and this one provides a slightly dewier finish. So I thought I would just layer them up on my face, see what happens. We'll do the Sunshine Skin Tint first. Doesn't look great when it comes out, let's be honest. You also get a nice little view of my grays. I love grays. What about you guys? I feel like it's so regal. So that's the Sunshine Skin Tint. Slightly dewy and very, very light coverage. Now let's layer on a bit of the 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. I guess I'm using this as like a concealer. I didn't bring a concealer down. We have not been sleeping the best since July 4th. We stayed up so late with the kids, and then everyone's sleep has been shot since then. Plus fireworks, plus apparently the need to shoot off fireworks the day before the 4th of July and the day after the 4th of July. Gotta use them up, you know? Those things can't be stored. Actually, I don't really know. Can they be stored? Can you store fireworks? Do they keep? Okay, that's the combination. Provides just a light bit of coverage, and I feel like it does basically the exact same thing as the Neutrogena Hydrating Tinted Foundation. I do really love that one, but with these two other products, and I mean, I even have the MAC Face and Body, which also can be worn in a very light layer, there's no reason that I need to run out and purchase the Neutrogena Hydrating Tint. These other products that I have totally do the same job and look exactly the same on the face. So they'll do. Okay, I have a couple bronzers on my wish list. I have the Victoria Beckham Bronzing Brick and also the Nabla Skin Bronzing in Soft Revenge. Is it just called the Skin Bronzing? That doesn't seem grammatically correct. It's a Nabla bronzer and it's in the shade Soft Revenge. So I believe that the Nabla one has a little bit of glow to it, and then the Victoria Beckham one is completely matte. So they are pretty different in both finish and in the colors that I would be interested in. So I just grabbed a couple of my bronzers and see if I can make a combination that will kind of satisfy that urge to purchase both of those two other products. So I have the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. This has more of a matte finish. And then the e.l.f. Primer-Infused bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. This also has a matte finish. So I'm thinking that the e.l.f. bronzer is reading the most like the Victoria Beckham one, which is probably the one that is predominantly intriguing me right now. So I'm gonna put this one on first. Bronzer, I typically start with the cheek, pull it up to the forehead, use the remainder of the product on the jawline, the neck, and then whatever's left on the eye. What's so funny about these products that we're interested in is that I have never actually swatched the Victoria Beckham Bronzing Brick. I've just seen pictures of it online, I've just heard people talk about it, and I have just looked at swatches on the internet, but never physically in store or on my skin. So how do I know that it's something that I want? How do I know that it's something that would actually look good on me? Also, I didn't mention this before, but that bronzer is like $60. And so for just purchasing something like that at that price point, sight unseen, it just seems like a big investment. And for reference, the e.l.f. bronzer is $6. So honestly, I think that I'm good. I don't think that I'm going to add the Milk Chocolate Soleil over top. I might use it a little bit later, maybe as an eyeshadow or something like that, but this is satisfying me. This is satisfying all of my matte bronzer desires. And it just makes me think, one of the negative aspects about having so much makeup or having more than you can kind of hold in your mind is that you forget about things. I've forgotten how much I love that e.l.f. bronzer. I've forgotten how good it is. I've forgotten how seamless the application is. So just bringing it out and playing with it again, it makes me realize I already have too much. I already have more than I can hold in my head and more than I can remember on any given day. And so I don't need to add the Victoria Beckham bronzer or the Nabla bronzer right now. I've never swatched either of those bronzers. I don't actually know that I would like them or that they would look good on me. I don't remember how many. I have this many bronzers right now that I actually know that I like. I like the majority of them, the vast majority of them. I'm just gonna use the ones that I have and kind of try to cycle through them, remember them more. And if I'm feeling kind of like antsy when it comes to bronzer, I can always just put away the ones that I'm using and grab another one. There's always more where that came from, at least at this point. Okay, I have a few blushes on my wish list currently. Blush is probably one of my favorite makeup items. Between blush and bronzer, it's like top two. So I've got the e.l.f. Peach Cream Blush. I don't know if that's the technical name, but that's how I wrote it in my wish list. I also wrote down the e.l.f. Always Cheeky Blush. I'm pretty sure this is part of the Primer-Infused line, so it's the same kind of formula as that bronzer that I just used. The application of that Primer-Infused bronzer, it's so seamless, and so it makes me want to try the blush, and the blush is also in a shade that I really love. It's like a peachy light pink type of situation. And the last blush that I have written down is the Stila Convertible Color. Now this is supposed to be kind of like an iconic cream blush, and it was one of the first ones that came out. I've never actually tried it, and I don't even have a color name. My wish for it doesn't even go as far as wanting a certain color of it. It just goes so far as wanting to try the Stila Convertible Color, and that's fine. I mean, I think it's okay to just simply have the desire to want to try a certain formula, especially one that is so lauded and praised as the Stila Convertible Color. But because I didn't have a particular color in mind for that, I just went ahead and grabbed a couple blushes that would match the other two e.l.f. blushes that I was interested in. So kind of ones that are in the pinky peachy family. First, I have the e.l.f. Cosmetics So Soft blush in the shade Pearl Tea. I feel like it's reading pretty dark on the arm, but it actually blends out pretty seamlessly. And then I grabbed the Shiseido InnerGlow cheek powder in the shade Aura Pink. This is also in my project pan. A little bit of a spoiler, but this really reminds me of the e.l.f. Always Cheeky blush. Maybe slightly darker, but I've used this so much, I know it reads very light on my skin. Gosh, this formula is so good though. So I figured I would just kind of layer those two together and see how they look. So I'm trying to keep the application of this Cosmetics blush kind of further back and up higher on my cheekbone. And I like to blend the excess up into the corner of my eye. And then I'm going to take the Shiseido one and try to do more of a pop right on the apple of my cheek. And with that one too, I like to keep the majority of the product here on the apple of the cheek, and then I blend whatever's left on the, not the blush, the brush. And then I blend whatever is left on the blush. No, brain, work. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And then I blend what is ever, no. And then I blend what's left on the brush up, like under my eye. For lack of better words, that's what I do to kind of blur that line of demarcation between the blush right here and how light my under eye tends to be. Okay, so I'd say that's satisfactory. In terms of like talking myself out of those couple of blushes, I think one strategy that I've used to comfort myself, and I'm going to use it again here, is that those e.l.f. blushes in particular, especially the Primer-Infused one, it has been around for years, and it's something that they continue to make over and over and over again. And so for all I know, they'll continue to make it. They'll continue to make it, and if they don't, then they'll probably make something else at least pretty similar. So I don't really need to worry. I have all of these wonderful blushes, and I have a lot to choose from. Either way that I look at it, either I use up the ones that I have and they're still making these e.l.f. blushes and I can add them and I can try them, or I finish up what I have and it's too late. I don't know, they no longer sell those and something else will be on the market. You know, they're always making more things. They're never going to stop. And there's always going to be something that I want to try. So I don't need to worry too much. You know, I don't need to worry too much. It's either going to be that blush that I get after I finish things, or it'll be another one. And in my mind, there's nothing so special about a makeup product that it probably couldn't easily be replaced in my heart, even by something that's not exactly the same. Okay, I do have a powder on my list. It's a Huda Beauty loose powder. I don't know if that's the technical name. I don't have it, and I'm not gonna buy it, but I do have the Laura Mercier translucent loose powder. This is from a birthday gift ages ago, and it's lasted me so long, partly probably because I have other powders that I'm using as well. So with loose powder, I like to take a little bit into my hand. I got this trick from, is it Nikki La Rose? Nikki something. She's a makeup artist on YouTube, and she recommended taking loose powder and putting it into the palm of your hand to kind of warm up the product. So I've been doing that ever since. And then I take a big fluffy brush and I kind of just tap it into the product that's on my hand and pick up the majority of it. And then I take whatever is left and press it into my forehead because that's where I get the most oil. And then I'll take what's on the brush, do a little bit more where I need it. Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise. What the heck? That's gross. Sorry, that's gross. And that's powder. That's powder. And there's no way I'm gonna go out and get the Huda Beauty loose powder right now. I just finished my Well People powder within my project pan, and it took me 323 uses, I believe, to finish it up. So it's like, it's a whole year's worth of use for one single powder. And I not only have this Laura Mercier powder left, but I also have two others, a Rimmel one and a NARS one. I have like 3 years of powder left in my collection, technically, unless some of those go a little bit faster, but still, I mean, at least 2.5 years of powder. And so I don't need the Huda one right now. I have heard really incredible things about it. So it is a product that makes me excited. Again, I don't think it's wrong to like want these things and put them on our wish list and kind of hold on to the idea of them. But I'm really, really glad that I didn't just go out and get it right away, because just that little break from wanting that little step back made me realize that I really do have a lot of powder, and that the majority of powder sits pretty well on my skin. I know that some people are really particular about powder, and I understand that there are certain skin types or skin conditions where a powder might need to be a very particular way to kind of like sit the best on top of the skin. So I can understand that and I can appreciate that. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge that for me, I haven't had to be particular about powder, and the ones that I have serve me really well and do the job that I want them to do, which is basically just to absorb oil. So yeah, that Laura Mercier is really doing that. Y'all, it was 98 yesterday. 98, 100% humidity. I didn't sign off on that. Yeah. I feel like my eye's just getting redder and redder. So I went and put some eye drops in my eye, and hopefully that will soothe some of the irritation, because it was uncomfortable. That's that. Super sexy content. Did I mention my super cool eye drops at a CVS near you? Where were we? Another thing that I have on my list is the NYX Brow Tint Pen in the shade Taupe. I've been really interested in this brow product for a while, but brow products also just last me a while, and I've got a couple of gels. I'm not actually sure that these will be like good dupes, but this is what I have. This is the Make Beauty Infinite Hold Sculpting Brow Tint in the shade Cool Brown. They only have one shade of this, and unfortunately it is a bit too dark for me, so I have to be very delicate when I put it on. And then I also have the Got To Be Glue, just like clear brow gel. I'm just going to use a combination of these to do my brows. But the reason why I'm interested in the NYX one is because I'm interested in trying more of a pen versus a tinted gel, because I wonder if I might have a little bit more control. And also, I definitely think I need a more taupey shade as opposed to like a dark cool brown. But really the trick I've learned with this one is to just use it in the outer half of my brow, because that is where things are the sparsest. When I add any sort of product here in the front, things end up looking like a lot harsher. That'll do, pig. That'll do. So while those brow products are not exactly like the thing that I want, I think that because I do generally, historically, work through my brow products at a relatively good rate, I think it's only a matter of time before I can go out and purchase that NYX brow pen if that's the one that I want. These ones work for now, especially since the majority of the time my bangs are just hanging over my brows. I mean, you hardly see them anymore, honestly. I'm only wearing my hair this way because this is how it turned out when I got out of the pool. Again, the salt water. I'm like, put a sea salt pool on my wish list, why don't you? Okay. So anywho, my bangs are typically covering my brows and nobody sees them. So it doesn't really matter what product I use in them. This will do. On my wish list, I also have the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Frappe. I have a lot of NYX and e.l.f. products. Those are definitely some of my favorite drugstore brands. So the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Frappe, it's just this like nice chocolatey brown color, and it draws me in, and I want it. I desire it. It looks beautiful. The thing that I grabbed from my makeup collection is the MAC Eye Kohl in the shade Teddy. This is also a nice warm brown, so I feel like it would do a similar thing. It's not as chunky and satisfying, and so in that sense it's not the same, but I feel like the color might be similar enough. I'm just gonna make it kind of nice and thick, like I imagine I would do with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. Maybe even going for a smoky eye. I'm just winging this. I'm just winging it. Messy is key. Messy is part of it. I'm gonna lay down the base, and then I'm gonna buff it out with a brush. For some reason, I also imagine the NYX one to be slightly creamier. I'm honestly just buffing and buffing and buffing until it looks the way I want it to. Everything you need to know about eyeshadow in one sentence. or at least everything I care to know about eyeshadow. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. Oh, it smells chocolatey. That's nice. I'm gonna go back in with the MAC Teddy and just add a little bit more depth to my lash line. And then for want of another lighter eyeshadow, I'm gonna take a little bit of the Laura Mercier loose powder with a different brush and just buff out the brow bone. And I don't have a mascara on my wish list, so I'm just gonna use the mascara that I have. I just finished up my previous mascara and got this one. It's the Ulta Beauty Twisted Volume. Apparently you're supposed to be able to twist the wand into 4 different shapes, and it adds volume each time you twist it. 4 is supposed to be the most voluminous. It's a cool idea. I feel like this is maybe a dupe of the By Terry Twisted Mascara. That's not the technical name for it, but it does the same kind of thing with a twisted brush. I just have it on the number 2 setting. It's hard to do in the camera. Use my mirror. I pulled off my kid's wall that I thrifted for $2.99. $2.99. I like this mascara. I normally don't just like go into the store and wing it. I like to look at reviews and stuff like that. I'm a information gathering type person. But when I went into Ulta, they didn't have the mascara that I was looking for. It was the L'Oreal Bambi Eyes, but in the shade Black Brown. They didn't have that shade. And I was really, really wanting more of a brown mascara. That's my favorite on me because I feel like it just looks slightly more natural, more subtle. Black can turn out pretty harsh. I just grabbed this one, knowing nothing about it other than that By Terry has a twisted brush, and I really like it. I don't have a highlighter on my wish list, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of the RMS Living Luminizer. And then in terms of lip color, on my wish list I had the Refi Lip Blush in the shade Bloom. It's supposed to be a lip product with this kind of blotted effect. And I do have a lipstick that has a very similar formula to that. It's the Violette FR Bisou Balm, but the Bloom color in the Refi is much more pinky. So I also brought down my Trish McAvoy Veil lip color in the shade Easy Nude, which is much more pink. So I thought maybe a combination of these would work. I'm gonna start with a tiny bit of lip liner though, which I didn't have any on my wish list. So I'm just gonna use my favorite, which is the Too Faced Perfect Lips in the shade Perfect Nude. I think that this is discontinued, which makes me very sad because it's like the perfect color for me. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the Violette, which as you can see is much warmer than the Refi one. And then a dab of the Trish right on the center. I think the thing about the Refi one and kind of like talking myself out of it is that yes, I love a blotted lipstick and I love the Violette one, for instance, because I can put it on and it already looks like my lips have that blotted effect. But you can make a blotted lipstick by blotting your lipstick. My husband just called to ask me what kind of pads I want from Walmart. God bless his soul. God bless him. Honestly, every husband who is out at the store right now getting your wife pads, go on with your bad self. You're doing the real thing. You're doing it. What was I saying? You can make a blotted lipstick by blotting your lipstick. Though I don't have many lipsticks, maybe 4 or 5, something like that, I can make a blotted lipstick out of any of them. If I like the color, I can put it on and then I can blot it and I can have that effect, and I don't necessarily need to go out and get an additional one just because it has that effect that I like. I can create that effect with the things that I have. I feel like that is true with so many of the things on my wish list. I can either replicate the effect that the product is trying to give by being just a little bit creative, or the products are not so different and not so obvious on the skin that if I used something that I already owned that had a slightly different effect or a slightly different finish than the thing that I was craving, that anyone around me would really be able to notice. Most things look generally the same on the skin. So I don't need to run out and go purchase any of the things that are on my wish list because I can use what I have in my collection already to generally create the same look. I'd say that sea salt spray is working out. it's doing the thing. It definitely settled down after I scrunched it, and a lot of the frizz went away, which is I was concerned about with sea salt sprays, and I guess seawater in general. It can dry your hair out, but this, it's looking nice. It's looking really nice. And the very last thing on my wish list that I'm going to talk myself out of right this second is Glossier You. I love a good perfume. I do, and I have a few. And I've heard so many good things about the Glossier You, just about how it kind of like melds to your natural scent, to your pheromones, you know, it's that kind of perfume. And I don't actually have anything quite like that. It is still on my wish list. It is something that I'm interested in, but I have also never smelled it before. And so the idea of purchasing Glossier You right now when I've never even tried a sample on me, to know not only what it smells like, but what it might smell like on me throughout like an entire day, that just seems like silliness. So instead I just grabbed a perfume that I have that I already really, really like. This is the Orbe Coat. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this one. I'm gonna put the name on the screen. Just gonna save you the trouble, save your ears the trouble. I'm gonna put the name on the screen. It's Orbe, and it's supposed to smell like all of their products. So save yourself $50. Don't get the dry texturizing spray from Orbe. Instead, just get the perfume. I got the little sample travel size. It's lasted me forever. That's how much I have left, and I've had it for quite a while. Just the rollerball. Ooh. Yeah, it smells nice. This one is going to beat out the Glossier You right now because not only does it smell nice, but I know what it smells like. And I already own it. I just want to smell good. I just want to smell good. And that's the essence of having the Glossier You on my list, right? It's a smell that I've never smelled, so I can't say, oh, I want to smell like X. I just want to smell nice. And now I do. Okay, so that's the whole video. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. I hope that this also encourages you to kind of go through your wish list or pause for a second when you're thinking about adding something into your makeup collection or into your closet. I have a whole long wish list for clothing items as well. So if you want me to make a video like this, but with clothes, please let me know in the comment section down below. And I hope you just go out and enjoy the things that you already own today. Enjoy your real life, and I'm gonna enjoy mine. See y'all next time. I will see you all in the following time, the time that is following this time. It doth not proceed. Lilas. TTYL. Have a great summer. Don't ever change.